Let's talk more about the visit. The Indian External Minister S Jaishankar's 5-day visit to Israel has also put focus on a quadrilateral meeting. Foreign ministers of US, India, Israel and the UAE sat down virtually, after which Jaishankar called it the first fruitful meeting. The talks highlighted on economic growth and global issues. On the same lines, his US counterpart Antony Blinken described Israel, the UAE and India as three of the most strategic partners. Expanding economic and political collaboration was also given importance. This is a meeting like no other. The relations between the four countries here are diverse. Both India and Israel are allies of the United States. Meanwhile, Israel and UAE normalized relations just over a year ago. It is being said that Iran was also briefly discussed, while both United States and Israel have talked tough on the West Asian nation. Tehran and New Delhi enjoy good relations with each other. WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Sidhant Sibal sent us this report.
The first Quad meeting between the foreign ministers of India, Israel, UAE and US at the virtual level is over, and key outcomes were discussions on climate change, on energy, on maritime security and increasing political cooperation, particularly in West Asia. We know that when it comes to the US side, they affirmed their support to the Abraham Accords that saw normalization of relationship between Israel and UAE. But this development is a direct dividend of the Abraham Accords. We know that India has good relationship with both Israel and UAE, and in fact, these three countries have had a trilateral pact on robotics, under which Israeli company will produce robots here in India for use in UAE. Also remember, focus is on maritime cooperation and also connectivity. On connectivity front, we will see the foreign ministers of the three countries, India, Israel and UAE, along with the foreign ministers of Egypt, of Cyprus, of Greece, coming together and meeting in Dubai in the month of November. And that essentially is a connectivity linking Mediterranean with India via the Arab world. So these are the focus areas, and this could be essentially the start of many more meetings in this new Quad, which has been termed, and will see cooperation, particularly when it comes to the West Asian region, how these countries can come together and work on other areas as well. Sidhant Sibal for WION in New Delhi.